Hey guys, what's up? Today we are going to get into the world of music and how basically we got to the point of Instagram fans being confused. For music the way it is now, I feel like it has lost a sense of seniority. And what I mean by that is bands that were established years and years ago don't get respect anymore. It kind of stopped after everybody gave a bunch of praise to Kiss and Led Zeppelin and bands like that, and Van Halen, of course. And we kind of lost a sense of direction for basically who we're supposed to look up to now. And for some reason, we're skipping these great big 80s bands and we're not giving them the same respect as we had to other bands that came out before. And for some reason, these fake ass artists that basically get their music recorded through, like, I don't know, SoundCloud or Spotify or wherever, they get all this respect and great applause when they've only been alive for like what, 2 years? I mean, they're so fucking young, they're kids, and I just don't get why they get so much respect and glam metal basically or hard rock gets kind of kicked in the face with like they just get treated like shit, and I don't think it's cool. And I really find this whole social media thing, I kind of find it all to blame, and I'm gonna get more into that. I'm gonna take you back to the 1990s, and this is when I started to notice that a lot of rock genres started to kind of become one. Because after glam metal kind of had its end basically 1990, it kind of had people trying it a couple years later, but let's be honest, it ended in 1990. And we started hearing more grunge and it started getting more pushed. I'm not saying it's the sole reason, but you can tell people wanted to kind of ease rock and roll out of the picture, because by the time 1995 basically came around, I noticed that's when all things rock and roll stopped being pushed all together and stopped being mentioned, and people stopped caring about it. And I started to see a lot more pop groups and who were boy and girl kind of being pushed more, and you saw their solo works and everything. That's kind of like, okay, no rock and roll anymore, and that's kind of what ended up happening. And because there wasn't so much rock and roll being pushed anymore, everybody was kind of desperate to just like rock in general who liked rock, and you kind of got pushed into a corner, like a freak corner basically. Like you were kind of treated like a freak, and then we were kind of all forced to like the same rock. And we all know rock is a very diverse genre, so it's kind of hard for us to all get together. I mean, the only thing we have in common is basically the need to rebel. But this melting basically of the different sects of rock and roll, it kind of caused problems and issues within it, because now you have people who, and it's even more continued in the 2000s, because now you have people who are liking punk and stuff like that, and then who like punk, they also like dealing with like metal and stuff like that. And it's kind of weird because, you know, punk and metal, even though they both like have, like I said, they both like to rebel, and you know, they have things in common, they're just basically opposites and shouldn't really be in the same area. It's just not a good idea, and that started to mix and come together, especially in the 2000s when everything just died. Now that we have talked about the struggle of rock and roll and how it's been just a struggle to just have rock and roll be praised for the last 20 plus years, I want to go over the how we got to the Instagram point. And I feel like it's really, really bad. If you want to start a band, I suggest you stay the fuck away from Instagram or any other social media platform because it's going to kill your band. Like, there's a lot of people that I see and talk to on there because we have those same interests, of course, in metal and such. But what I notice, what social media does for your band is that most of the time you're kind of getting more compliments and praises, and no one's being your naysayer and giving you a hard time. And rock and roll, it's fun and all, but we're kind of angry and we're getting back at everyone who's kind of kicked us down. That's kind of the point. And I feel like Instagram kind of elevates you on the same level as everybody else, especially because you get to talk to, really big people, like really famous people, and it kind of puts you on the same level. And the point is, when you're trying to make a band, you gotta feel people kicking you down and kicking you in the nuts, and then you gotta just get back up there and put some arnica on and just run for the punches, man. Like you just gotta keep moving forward and keep going strong, and it makes people too coddled on there, and that's really what I think about it. Social media is never going to help you. Even though you get that exposure, it's never really going to help you become famous because, like I said, this is the kind of rock and roll is the kind of music where you really have to get out there and really show people that they were wrong for just doubting you. And it's not going to, being on social media is not going to help you live that. Like, you have to sacrifice everything. And it makes it like, for example, you can be from Wisconsin, your band's from Wisconsin, and it's like, okay, I don't have to move from Wisconsin because I'm already getting this social media exposure right here when everybody knows for years and years and years, even now, basically LA is the only city that cares about you when you're a rock and roll band, and you think that just because you're getting all this big praise on social media, which isn't really big praise at all, especially because it's only like a corner of people on the internet that have that interest, so it's really not that many people. And they feel like, okay, I don't have to move from Wisconsin. I can just stay here and be big on my social media. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. You have to be able to make that pilgrimage to our rock and roll city, which is LA, and you have to make those sacrifices and basically get those life experiences out there so you can write those songs and be able to reach out to people and have them connect with you, because people connect better with you when you struggled and lived and done something for yourself, and you do something for yourself so you can let other people hear your story, and so you can inspire people even younger than you. And that's what makes rock and roll so great. And when you are on social media, you don't feel like you need a record label now, and you really do need a record label. It is definitely one of the key things to your success, because the record label is putting your name out there. You're getting advertised by them, and not a musician not having a record label is basically like some office guy not going to his cubicle at an office. It's just stupid, and you can't finish your job that way. It's very professional. It's how you can really get things done. You're not having any distractions. It's just really necessary when you're an artist for you to have that thing that grounds you down and kind of just makes you realize that, this is real work here. Even though it's fun, you go in there and you're like, this is real work, and I have to have finished this deadline, and it gives you a real responsibility. As for the young and budding bands going all about so they can, become the big stars, you gotta stick to your guns and not let anyone change you or what kind of music you're going for. If they're making fun of it, who gives a shit? That, like, you should be proud of yourself and the work that you've done. So you definitely gotta stick to your guns, as Motley Crue says. And definitely do everything the old fashioned way because that's what rock and roll is. It's never going to change. The platform of success for rock and roll is never going to change. And people need to stop trying to change it because when you do these things and go out there and make a name for yourself and really try hard, you're going to become someone else's inspiration. You're going to become someone else's Nikki Sixx, Vince Neil, Tommy Lee, Mick Mars, Tom Kiefer, Steven Tyler, Eddie Van Halen, David Lee Roth, all those people. You're going to be those people to an even younger crowd one day. And how are you supposed to inspire when you're not out there? In order for bands to really get themselves back out there and to really get to that journey of rock and roll and success and how it used to be, social media really has to go. Like, it just has to be destroyed. Which is the same thing as destroying millennials. They just have to go. They destroy everything. They make this world the shit box it is now. And, you know, like I said, bands, they've got to get their name out there. And one of the things includes you got to keep talking to people at the clubs. You have to keep getting performances out, make free performances even. Like, money doesn't matter when it comes to rock and roll. It's what comes later, as Vince Neil says, the limos and shit comes later. That other crap doesn't matter when you're trying to make a successful rock and roll band that's going to stick around for years and years and be like Kiss, basically. And you gotta put those posters out there, you know what I mean? Put posters of bands. Why doesn't anyone put posters of bands anymore? I want to see your shit. You gotta take pictures, get your photographer, and show your sexy asses out there, and just fucking get out there and just find your band members, find everything the old-fashioned way, and just make, you know, announcements through newspapers and stuff or bulletins. It's the best way to really get people, and it really connects you. And being on social media, you don't want to be on there because this is the rebellious genre. How the hell are you going to be okay with all these friggin' people watching your every move? They're going to be telling you what to do. And that's kind of what's going on right now. Everyone's being told what to do. And you can't be a rock and roller when you're being told what to do. You're supposed to rebel and not listen to anybody and not give a shit. And how are you supposed to find groupies when you're on the internet? You need groupies to move it forward, okay? You just need them. They're important because they're a part of you gaining your masculinity and you having that confidence. You need people out there telling you that you're great and you're amazing. And you're not getting that on the internet. You're just getting a bunch of fake people. And the real people who actually love rock and roll are not on social media, and they don't want to be on fucking social media because social media is fake as fuck. And get off of Instagram and go make a real fucking rock and roll band, and let's bring back rock and roll to how it used to fucking be, where it was actually good, and so we can stop looking at like 10-year-olds that who don't even fucking make real music. I hope I inspired some people to get off the fucking couch and do some shit. Sacrifice. Rock and roll is a 24/7 job. It is very tough, it is hard, it's fun, and it pays off. But it's a dirty job and someone's gotta do it.